Welcome back to the Duel podcast. It's your host, Alicia Solomon, and myself, Megan Hines, where every week we talk about a challenge. And we're back once again to talk about the Challenge All Stars 4, where somebody pumped fakes after they made a whole plan and had me confused, had fellow players confused, because what are you thinking? How are you going to get a star? And we get more toxic attraction making plans and it's like, let's see how this goes. But this episode was okay. Like last week was not great. This week was okay in terms of drama. But yeah, welcome back.
Yeah, I think we're kind of getting on the decline of just the season in general because we're getting to the end. And so, I mean, we thought that the drama would ramp up a little bit more, especially given how last week was with Cara versus Laurel and Nicole. But, editing always makes it seem better than what it is. So it's kind of like, yeah, we get what we get.
Yeah. And speaking of Nicole, we start this episode off like granted, like they had their off day, they're all chilling. But what I want to focus on is Nicole being the culprit of people being anti Cara. Because that lady's obsessed with her. And I'm not taking really much sides in like a lot of the drama this season, but I'm on the side of Carl in this because Carl's not doing too much when it comes to Nicole. Granted, she does speak her piece about Nicole and Laurel's relationship. Nicole is just being the one that's more obsessed. Because why are you telling grown adults not to be friends with that lady, not to talk to her, not to be in the same room with her? Like, why are you trying to tell Steve not to be around Kara? Who are you to tell somebody to do that? That's my question.
I mean, I don't know. Like, I just think that Nicole is I don't want to be mean, but she's not the smartest crayon in the book or the box, whatever you want to call it. So, um, I think that she wants to pick a fight because she has Laurel on her side. I think that if Laurel was really against her or stood in the fact that she shouldn't be with Nicole and they were like really oppositions, like they were really ops this season, Nicole would be approaching this a little bit differently, but because she knows she's gained the trust of Laurel, which also now trickles down into how other people, view Nicole and this whole Cara situation, it gives Nicole a little bit more battery in her back to be like, keep my name out your mouth, don't say my name, da da da, and all this other rah rah stuff that she's giving Cara. And to Cara's credit, she's not backing down as she shouldn't because what are you even talking about? Like, this whole situation really stemmed from just Cara being a decent friend or associate or lending ear to Laurel and her trying to have her best interest. And then all of a sudden now she needs to keep her name out of her mouth and who's going after whose star and all this other stuff, which is gameplay. Yes. But I think the personal stuff that is getting thrown into it and looped in makes it just seem like Nicole just wants to be a tyrant, which like, girl, you're not gonna have it your way. It's not Burger King. Like, pack it the fuck up and go slide down a firefighter pole or something. Like, she's just annoying to be like, why do you think that you can just go around and just boss people around and tell them what to do? It just doesn't make any sense. And you want to get rah-rah because that's what Nicole's MO always seems to be is like, I'll smack you, I'll fight you, I'll do this, keep my name out your mouth, and you're not doing anything. So please just pack it up. And I respect Cara for being like Nicole, 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 because what are you gonna do realistically? Like, your name is not gonna come out of her mouth because you keep targeting her. So I just think that it's stupid overall. And Nicole just really showing her ass because she has Laurel support. If she didn't have Laurel support, she wouldn't be acting like this.
Yeah, and I'm like, this is just weird. I'm like, Kara's mind her business. Like, I feel like in the general grand scheme of things of the Kara storyline, Kara may be doing some stuff, but obviously with production we don't see it. But these other people that are like just hammering it in, I'm like, take a chill pill. Like you're doing too much, and Cole was like went off like right away, and I'm like, please stop because you're not doing yourself any favors. And I'm so glad, once again, like I mentioned previously, that Laurel's in a clear mind and she's looking at this because she looked crazy behind that lady. So because the way that Laurel has been like also is up Nicole with this too, and I'm like they're on the same page. I'm like, this is not good. I don't like seeing it because y'all are piling on something that doesn't be piled on. Like, yes, Cara is the main squeeze right now. Like, y'all going after her. But the way that y'all are going about it is just very weird and it's toxic. And that's not what I like about All Stars. We're supposed to be having fun, having good drama. This is weird drama that I don't like. And it's like, I'm just cringing because I don't want to hear Nicole yell every single episode about something that's stupid.
I'm
Well,
of two minds, to be honest, with this. Because like I said, I feel like Laurel and Nicole are basically sharing one brain, which is Laurel's brain, and she's basically trying to turn people against Cara and trying to isolate her. But then also, I think that Cara is not just a victim. Like, I mean, I'm not in the house. They're not editing things, so it's like I can't really speak to what she's done or but she has done a lot of weird things. Like I'm not even going to just put a
yeah,
whole cape on her. Like Cara is not innocent in how she's moved and how she's behaved, things that she said or done on previous seasons and online. So that's why I'm of two minds. I don't think that it's just all one sided of them just ganging up on her, but I also think that it's just like, bro, y'all are also trying to isolate her and get her out, and that's just what that's just what's shown. So it makes it seem like everyone's like ganging up on her, and it's just like Flora is seemingly every time we see her, it's her bashing Cara, bashing not in a terrible way, but like talking against her like she's a crybaby, she's this and that may be her experience. I don't know, but I'm not gonna like fully cape for Cara, and I'm not gonna fully be like, yeah, they should just get her out because she's a strong competitor. Like, no.
yeah. I just think if they're it's a weird way of trying to humble Kara. That's what I got out of that first part for the most part. Cause like you're going at Kara, you're putting personal stuff at her, and you're like saying like basically isolating her. But you're trying to humble her, and she does not need to be humbled. Like that's the part that I think is what's really the issue is because Laurel is the frenemy of Kara. Like there is a respect, but then with Nicole, who actually doesn't like her, it's a weird combination of things of trying to humble Kara when she doesn't need to. That doesn't need to happen. And that's what's really being. I feel like that's what's really being shown. Like they're trying to humble her and like isolate her, just to get her to crack. That's not gonna happen because she's grown up. She can handle herself, and she's gonna pipe back when she wants to. But it's just a weird schematics of I feel like overall and we move on. I just try to humble Kara and it looks weird and it's not bullying because people keep doing that. So yeah. But that segment done. We get into the daily challenge and it is called Run the Plank. And teacher was like, oh, let's be walk the plank. Nah, y'all gonna run the plank. And this is gonna be in man and woman pairs where throughout 2 rounds they will alternate getting up on a plank, then proceed to jump off and pull down a hanging wall after falling to the water. The pairs will continue to do this until their maze puzzle drops down to the ground water. And once the puzzle is down, they will navigate their stars through the maze and place them on the board on shore, and the team with the fastest time will win, while the four slowest teams will form the losing group. And TJ said this week is also another Women's Week, and I'm like, why are we doing another Women's Week? I know like it's like not predictable at this point, like which week will be a man and women's week, but you just had a Women's Week. Let a man go now.
I mean, it's a switch up. I think that I think in real time the producers realize the storylines that they can edit and produce, and so with this whole Cam getting Cara Star and all of this plotting and things that happened with Cam and Laurel, I think that it was just a bit easier to have that story keep being told. With now, you think that it's going to be in a men's elimination, but it's like it's a women's elimination, and now you get that story to be build and continue. I think it's just in real time that they're making these decisions, to be honest.
Yeah, because no one's really, honestly, no one's really checking for the guys either. So it's like it does make sense for it to be another women's week because they are carrying the storyline, and so it would make sense to do that to keep that going. And in Heat 1, we had Cam and Leroy, Ace and Cara Maria, Flora and Steve, and Veronica and Ryan. Immediately, Leroy was scared. Flora was like, I don't even jump off a diving board. So how am I supposed to do this? And she basically was like letting Steve do everything and jumping off, and they'll just do the puzzle. And Steve was the first person to break the ice for people to jump off and grab their balls that got to the water. But a lot of people were also missing the angle to get to their hanging balls in the sky. And it was very funny. That compilation was very funny to see.
Yeah, it was just people falling off a plane, to be honest, and dive boarding. That's just basically what the challenge was, especially when we get into the actual teams of like Flora and Steve and Veronica and Ryan. Like Veronica was just up there jumping for her life. Flora was up there just jumping for her life. Like they were just having a good time. Like they were literally on vacation. We were just watching them jump off a diving board. And it's like you win some, you lose some. I guess people are trying to win challenges, but for the most part, I think that people were putting in their best effort. We can get to Cam and Leroy. Leroy tried, he jumped off a couple of times. And then once we got to Cam, I don't know what it was, but she said it was her postpartum anxiety. So we'll leave it at that because that's what she said out of her mouth. But it's just not the week to do this because you know that this is a women's elimination. You just got your star and you don't know how things are playing out. And I think between last week of everyone colluding and trying to get one person's star to Richard, which was Cam, for now this week, you know what's in front of you and you kind of just don't even give it an effort. I understand that you may have anxiety about it. We've seen countless people go up on platforms and basically fold and wimp out. So I'm not knocking Cam for that. That's whatever your hurdle that you got to go through to get over that. It is what it is. But I just think that it was the wrong week for her to have that anxiety attack essentially and not being able to do anything. And it's just like you just got your star. Leroy has a star. Like it seems like things are on the up and up for the both of them, and then a situation like this happens. And as for Cara, she understood what was happening too in real time. She's like, listen, they're gonna come after me if I don't win. And so her and Ace seem to have a connection and being the closest in the house, and they always are trying to win. And Ace and Cara did their best, but it wasn't good enough. Just because they're the first heat, you always have that hurdle of trying to go first and then just figuring it out. So when the second heat goes, it seems a little bit easier. And Nicole was talking all that shit. Oh my God, what are they doing? Aha, they can't do this. Oh my God, aha, they can't jump. And her, okay, okay.
All for her to not keep up either. Like Jay was doing the heavy lifting for her and him. Like you sat there laughing, talking all that crap about everybody in the first seat for not getting to the balls that time. And look what you did. You are a firefighter. Jay even said it. Both of the firefighters. We should be in the lead. We should have this in the bag. Jay did all the heavy lifting for him and Nicole. And she was just there. He did what Steve did for her, basically. Because she could barely do it. And I'm like, that's what you get. If you start talking mess, you have to back it up and actually go through with everything. And that's really what she did not do. And I had to laugh. I was like, this is funny. You just sat there and did all of that for you to just not get it done completely. That's crazy. But just seeing them is like not, like be very like middle. I'm like, this is weird. But Laurel and Derek in the Heat 2 were really good. They really like had their pace and they were able to make a stride and they made it to the end of the Heat 2 way faster than Nicole and Jay and Adam and Avery.
Yeah, I mean, and for Avery, I guess, like, she's trying. Like, I just think it's funny how these people are just like coupled up and we're not getting any context. Like, Where's the real edit?
Yeah, because I'm like, we saw like the little crumbs that they did give us like probably a week or two ago. Of I think of Adam giving her a massage or something, but that was it. But this is like just a love story that's gone under edited because it's not part of the bigger storyline in the grand scheme of things. But post show they're together, and later on they're still together. Like they're still together to this day, and we have nothing else to show for it. Middle of the season, barely. So that's interesting. This is this is what they're doing with how they're editing the show. That's not giving us. They're giving us one storyline, which is great, but give us some more variety of these people. Because some people we haven't really seen Adam back in a long time. Avery back. Give us little hints of that because this is under the surface and we're not seeing it. But they've been performing very well together. In these challenges too. Like they're either winning or they're in the middle, but they're good together and individually, so it works out for them in the game. And with that, Derek and Laurel did end up winning. They didn't even like do like okay who came in second for this challenge. They're like oh Derek and Laurel just won completely. I was like oh okay cool. They win and we have a losers bracket and Leroy and Cam who disqualified Veronica and Ryan, Flora and Steve, and surprise, surprise, Cara Maria and Ace, which leaves Nicole and Jay and Adam and Avery being the middle groups to vote for the two women to go into elimination. And I we really weren't surprised. They literally said four teams would be in the bottom, but I didn't think that Cara and Ace would be in the bottom.
Yeah, I mean, given their performance, it kind of was seemingly looking like that just after seeing the second heat in general and how they were moving. So that's not the surprise, but just because Kara knew the expectations of what's happening this week of it being a women's elimination, it was kind of like you need to get this win. And then with Cam being DQ'd, it was like she already was going in. So it was just not the week for the both of them, honestly, to be in the bottom in the losing group. But because you would think Cam had a little bit more of a power in the house and just influence. Like Cara has some, but Cam seems to have more. So I was kind of like, yeah, it'll go Cam's way, to be honest. And I wasn't surprised that Derek and Laurel smoked it because we've seen Derek all season literally killing the competitions, but also being partnered with people who can't finish or just him falling into second place. So Laurel was determined, but Laurel is also just funny. Like she's always been funny, but I think this week she really just showed her ass.
Yeah, because immediately she talked to Nicole and the panel's like, oh, I want to go in and get my star against Cara. And I'm like, okay, this makes sense, but you're gonna leave Cam in. You're gonna have Cam be the other vote, and you take her spot. That doesn't make quite much of sense because, as the record showed at the end of the episode, that didn't work out. I was like, oh, I'm so like in the moment, I was like, okay, I'm sold on this plan, but I think Cam is the person for you to be swapped out with. Like the vote could have been Cara and Veronica or Cara and Flora because you can easily just take one of those two out of the equation and just go against Cara. Would have been easy money. Cam did not need to be in this scenario for Laurel to go against Cara. That didn't need to be happening unless like I don't know what Laurel I don't know what Laurel was thinking. The grand scheme of things, sure, her and Cam were aligned. Oh, I'm gonna do her solid. That still didn't work out. So the main plan should have just been Veronica Flora with Cara.
Yeah, 100%. I'm not sure why Cam continued to go along with the plan. I just think because of everything that happened last week and just in general and how the house has been moving and them all aligning basically to get Cara out because they understand Cara has won uh solo challenge before. So has Laurel. So it's not like, these people are just oblivious to the fact that she can take them out. I think what you're saying, like, I don't know why Cam even agreed to it in the first place. And I think Leroy picked up on it and was like, I don't know, this don't even feel right, to be honest, because it don't seem like she's going to stick to her word. And either way, like if Laurel went in against Cara, she was gonna have to take Cara out and steal someone's star. Cara doesn't have a star, so she wasn't taking a star from Cara. So I think that it was just a matter of trying to understand that you have to get the star or you have to steal a star from somebody. And the most likely person you're gonna steal it from was Veronica. So it's like why wouldn't she be an option? I really don't know why that wasn't in play, but Cam definitely took a major L after just going along with this plan and really riding with Laurel and thinking that she would be strategic in all of this, which she really wasn't.
Yeah, so in the nominations, it was clear cut for the most part that it would be Cam and Cara. But Jay, with voice of reason, spoke some truth. Because he was like, hey, it's 50-50 because Cara doesn't have a star. Cara could take a star, and basically, Cara could take Nicole's star if she had one. But if it was somebody else, if it was Cam, okay, sure, Cara could just take Cam's star. But it was still a chance because of Cara taking someone else's star, i.e. Nicole. If it wasn't Cam, Cam didn't like. I'm just saying it. And he said Cam did not need to be in this equation because her star was on the line. It, it was going to be taken if Cara won. That's one. Because Cara wants her star back. However, she could have got it a different way by taking Nicole's star. That could have been an option. Like you're hitching your plan because Nicole thought, yeah, Laura's gonna go in, and obviously that didn't happen. But I feel like because of what Jay said, it still was a possibility. Cara didn't like the if that doesn't make sense to me. Of the thought process of everybody else, yeah, Cara and Cam. Jay pushback was needed because it didn't make sense on that end because you didn't know what would happen, basically.
Yeah, I think Jay all episode, honestly, and for the past couple of weeks, he has been, like you said, a voice of reason for some people, especially for Cara, and being his number two, essentially after Nicole. And he was looking out for Nicole more than Nicole was looking out for herself because again, Nicole doesn't seem very much like the elevators all the way go up. So she's over here thinking whatever Laurel says is word is bond for basically, and she's going along with Laurel's plan, and you don't know what Laurel is thinking in the back end or what she's gonna do, which obviously we saw. So I just think that Jay being like, listen, Cara explicitly told Nicole in that nomination last week that listen, if you take my star, like yours is up next. So I'm not sure why Nicole thought it was going to be easy or she thought she was going to strong arm her into saying, keep my name out of your mouth. None of that is going to mean anything or, do anything or change anyone's game plan. Like at the end of the day, if we need a star to go to the final, I'm coming after yours. That's just the bottom line. And Nicole can't be trying to physically impose her will on someone when that shit is not going to work.
Yeah, and if Cara actually went against Laurel, Cara would have took Nicole's star. Like if like that would have been the plot. That was the play. That was the play. Like Cam's star would be in the clear. That she didn't have to worry. The plan the the play would be Nicole's star. Take out Laurel, take Nicole's star, make her vulnerable. That was the play. But like I said, she's not all the way up there in the head in the game. So like I said, the vote was clear. It was just gonna be Cara and Cam, and Cara was taking this decision on the chin. Where like either way, I'll feel fine. Like if I beat Cam, I get my star back. I'm cool. If I end up going against Laurel, which they kind of made it clear, like, oh yeah, Laurel maybe just go in. If she beats Laurel and also just takes a star, cool. Because Kara's record against Laurel is not great either. So if Kara went against Laurel, beat her, got a star, she didn't care about the end of the game. She didn't. So, like, if I can beat Laurel in something after their elimination history, cool. She would have been fine. So she took a little chance, very, like, very optimistic about the ending. Because either way, she would get her star back. And that's all she was worried about. And with that, we go straight to the arena. There's nothing else really happening after that. I know. Cameras come out, they play Caged In. And the game is supposed to be where they jump into a mud pit under a mesh cage that contains 10 balls. And they must pull balls out of a hole at the end of the cage and place them in the basket at the end of the pit. The first to do so wins. Everybody heard the game, and TJ asked Laurel since she won, like, hey, do you want to come in? And Laurel takes 5 minutes to contemplate if she wants to put herself in the arena, beat Cara, and kick a star, or just let Cam and Cara have their moment. And what does she do? She's like, I'm just not gonna. I'm gonna pass on this and just let them do their thing. This is how many times has Laurel won and said, "Oh, I'm not gonna go in. But you need a starter to go to the final."
I think it's the same thing that we saw Avery do last week, where Avery kept complaining, like, oh, I need a star and I need this and I need that. And it's like you had the opportunity to get a star and you didn't go in. So that's nobody's fault but yours. And I think that whatever happens, however, Laurel, whether she stays, leaves, get a star or not, I think that she should question her decision on why she didn't go in, because she probably knew all along, like, man, listen, if this was a situation and if it's physical, then I'm gonna go against Cara. If not, and it's like the challenge wasn't that much difficult. I don't know if Laurel felt like it's because she was too tall or whatever the situation may was. I don't know why she didn't go in, because to be honest, I think that Laurel could have thrived in that challenge. So she could have just killed two birds with one stone, took Cara out and just take someone else's star. But I mean, hate to say it, but I don't trust white women like that either. So I don't know why Cam decided to do it. Like, that's why I say Cam took it. Cam took an L. Like, history has shown time and time again, like, they gonna do what they do. So that's a learning lesson for Cam. And Cam said it herself in her confessional, like, yeah, Laurel has this history of doing things, but I never thought. Yeah, you never thought. That's what they all say. We all never thought. And look what happens in history to begin with. So, Cam, understand that this is your lesson to learn. Like, you started this. Like, Cam is not blameless in this whole how everything went down. But you gotta understand, like, you thought she was gonna be strategic and on your type of timing, and she showed you she wasn't. So take this lesson and learn it, and continue. What if you move on, or if you come back or whatever, you know, make sure you play correctly and lock in, because I don't know what that was. I really don't know why she decided, oh, I'm just gonna trust Laurel's plan. And when Laurel said the decision and was like, I'm gonna pass, Ace was like, Cam's stare could really cut a room. And I'm sure it did, because she really probably truly thought that Laura was going to follow through. But you can't put your trust or your game in someone else's hand. And just because she did it for you does not mean that, she'll do it in return. So I think this is just a lesson for Cam moving forward, because you you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. That's just the bottom line. Babe, that was your game. And again, don't trust these people. Like, come on now. You really let her play you. And that's really where I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, because Kim was confused, I was confused, Nicole was confused, Jay was confused. Everybody was like, "Man, you made this grand plan for you to say Kim basically go against Cara because you and her got something." But it's like, oh no, either way, like one strong person's going out the house, and I'll have another chance to get a star. Then why did you do all this hoopla? That like that part of it from Laurel is just so mind boggling. Was like, yeah, I want to go to the park. Why say that make a plan and not go through with it. Like I get yes, the part of Cam putting trust in Laurel to stick to her word, that's true. However, Laurel made a plan, had everybody go along with it, and then not follow through. Like, what are you thinking? Even Nicole was like, "Oh, yeah, I want Laurel to get her star. Cool." Laurel did not do that, and I'm like, I'm just so confused on how later on Laurel even gets the star. I'm like, at this point, we are almost to the end. Somebody's about to go again. Like it might be a purge. I don't know. But how are you gonna start? She's like, oh, we have more game left and more game left. Sure, but you had a chance to do that now. Pick out your number one enemy and Cara Maria, and then pick somebody else to start. It would have been fine. Why are we dragging this out? Because that's what I feel like they're doing at this point. With Laurel not even deciding to go in. I feel like at this point we're gonna get this Laurel and Cara thing drags on even more. And I'm like, at this point, you don't need it. Cam ended up being a casualty in this whole thing. And it was all for what?
That's her problem to figure out. Like she made herself a casualty because she allowed Laurel to sway her in thinking that this was going to happen. And Leroy even warned her. Like I said, before they went in, Leroy was like, I don't have a good feeling about this. Are you sure? And of course, Cam's going to be like, yeah, I'm Killer Cam. I could do this. I'm going to be fine. I'm going to be fine. But that was your opportunity to really put your foot down and be like, yeah, I don't know if this is what the plan should have been. And when she had that conversation with Laurel in the room, like she just believed everything Laurel was saying, and that was her problem. I really just think that Laurel did what she did, but I feel like Cam, she made herself a casualty in this game. And that was
Yeah.
the problem. And Cara gets off scotch free in terms of just now being able to get a star and moving how she wants to move. And so, yeah, I mean, however Laurel and Cara turns out, I mean, we'll see how it happens. But I do think that Laurel has some explaining to do to some people. And like I said, Nicole is not, she's not up here with us. So she's just gonna go along with whatever Laurel is saying and thinking that's just what it's gonna be. And it's like, no, let's kind of use our brains and critical thinking.
Yeah. So in elimination itself, Cara's strategy was to push the balls towards the furthest end of the pit, and that helped her get better access. And Cam had a head start throughout this whole thing. She was 3 balls ahead of Cara, but because Cam forgot some balls towards like the back end of the pit, that hindered her for like fully getting to it. But she had like the strong lead against Cara until Cara like kicked into high gear and really made it a close elimination. And Cara ended up finding her pace. She humped up to her CrossFitness and was able to just get through the pit and even like took the lead at one point and excelled in the win. And I was like, well, this is bad.
I mean, I thought that Cam was going to at least come through just because she was in such a lead. And, for all the hooping and hollering that Leroy seems to be doing, like, he ain't say nothing to her until, like, maybe, again, this was edited, so I don't know when he specifically said anything to her, but those I think it was like probably like 3 balls. It was like 2 in the center and then 1 at the complete end. And, Cam just missed it. And so as she's going fast and Leroy's just hooting and hollering, like, maybe you should have said something then. I don't know. Like that maybe could have helped your wife, but who knows? Not my problem. But Cara had her strategy. She did what she needed to do. She, put all the balls in the center and was just like, listen, I'm just gonna keep running because, like you said, Cara is CrossFit down. So she's gonna have that endurance to keep going in and out of the water. And it was really close. It wasn't like this was just a massacre or just something that she, totally hit it out the park. Like they were going at it. It was just 1 ball away. Cam literally almost had it, and it would have been a great story, but I just think that it's good for Cara's game now just to come back. She has a star, the star that was just stolen from her. Now she gets that star back. She has a star almost to the final, right? And now Laurel still has to fight to get her star. So I think that's the interesting dynamic that we'll see going into, the next couple of weeks and episodes is what does Laurel's plans look like to get a star? Because I don't think anyone is really going to be down for whatever Laurel's talking about at this point because they see that you're not a woman of your word or you're just going to back out and do whatever you want to do, which is fine. You can make your own decisions, but just don't lead everyone to think one way and have us really play your game and help you out for all of a sudden you don't want to do it. Like, I just think that that's just, it's not fair to the other people. But again, one brain, one sound.
Cam did it better. Cam did it better last week. Laurel, she pump faked, and then that looks stupid to us. And I know she looks stupid watching it back because it didn't make sense at all. You really had him do what you wanted to do for you to go back on it. So, but congratulations to Cara for winning. TJ did say at the end, like, if you don't have a star, right now, you better get one because the final is around the corner. And if you have the opportunity to win and you have an opinion combination, get the star because you don't need it. So we'll see how this goes. So there's still at least like 13 people left in the house. Like Laura is still there. Veronica is holding on to her star for dear life. She ain't a factor nobody if she's at the star. And I was like, okay, cool. So at this point now, Cara has a star back. Veronica has a star. Leroy has a star. Steve has a star. And I'm forgetting the last guy. But the star holders, it's gonna be, it definitely it's gonna look different soon because some of the people they're not gonna keep their stars. Like definitely Veronica is gonna get her star taken.
For sure. I think that she's just honestly there because they know that she's easily a person that can get out. But I think that she definitely should have went in this week if Laura was smart enough to just be like, listen, I'll just go in against Veronica and take her star so that I have a star and continue to keep it pushing. But, nevertheless, hindsight is 2020 and now we are ended up where we're at. So I mean, this season is kind of like, let's go because it's kind of like now it's dragging a little bit, which is interesting because it's like
Yeah,
it's only 10 to 12 episodes and we usually sit through like 23 of these things. So I'm honestly surprised that I feel like the season is dragging.
because we keep hearing Nicole yell at least 12, like the last couple episodes, and it's draining. That's why. And the way they're editing it too, it's kind of weird because there is so much more left on the cutting room floor that we hadn't seen. Like the way that the episodes are being edited is fine a little bit, but there's still like more in hindsight that we hadn't seen from the background. And I think that's why it's kind of like feeling like it's a drag because we're just like getting hit with like one storyline, and that's like starting to at this point get a little bit old. Like I need something else. I need more people fighting, but nothing else is really happening aside from that. So it makes sense, but it's just like there's still more stuff going on in the house that we just haven't seen that could make these episodes a little bit more interesting.
I guess so. I
But
don't.
yeah, I don't know. But I feel like there's more stuff that we just hadn't seen that could have made like I could have made me more excited for these episodes too. Because I'm like I'm every week at this point we're talking about Cara, Nicole, Laurel. I'm tired because it's the same thing every week at this point. And that's what we always say on the main show for like 5 episodes at a time for like a 20 something season because it's the same thing every time. We're getting that in a short span, and it's like, I'm tired of talking about this every time. But we'll see what happens next week and beyond. But as always, we have the music segment where the soundtrack of All Stars is always great. And there are a couple of songs that really hit me at the end of the episode that I wanted to share. First one was 212 by Azalea Banks. Um, that's the only Azalea Banks song that I know. And I was like, oh, they're playing this. I'm like, it worked because it was at fast pace for the nation. It's like I like this. It's good hype music for this, but hearing Azalea Banks on TV in 2024 is crazy. But yeah, that is a good song though.
I'm not sure why it's crazy to hear her.
I haven't
She
heard
makes good
Azalea Banks
music.
in a long
I
time.
mean,
Yeah.
she makes good music, so I'm not sure why it's crazy to hear her on TV.
Well, because it's been a long time since I've heard Azalea Banks at all. Like that's the last thing I've heard from her. And that's the first only time I've heard like song that I've heard from her. And so hearing that song specifically, because that song was like mad old at this point. I just haven't heard that song in a long time for me. So hearing that in this stage, I was like, oh, okay, cool.
Okay. I mean
Mm,
I don't want to say I like Azalea Banks. Like I like her music, but her antics, are a different story. But that's neither
yeah.
here nor there.
And then my second song was Power of Love by Celine Dion. Obviously, when Kim left, Leroy ran himself down the stage to say goodbye to Kim, and the background music for that was Power of Love. I'm your lady. When that hit, when I'm your lady started singing, I was like, this is funny, but it's perfect. And it's a perfect song for Cam's goodbye to Leroy.
I mean, I'm finally glad they're editing Leroy and Kim and being a relationship after how many seasons that we didn't see it. So at least they had to do something.
Yeah. But did you have a song?
The only song that I had, which is honestly my mood for this whole episode, was DJ Khaled, because when I see DJ Khaled, I just think of that dance that he does. And so that was really my mood watching this episode because, yeah, I don't know what to say. Like everything that kept playing out, I'm just like, you know what? I feel like DJ Khaled right now, just being random and just doing that dance move. So that when they play it, All I Do Is Win, it just made me think of that meme and video of DJ Khaled. And I was like, this is exactly how I feel watching this. Like just a burst of randomness that I'm just going to sprinkle in. That's the only song that I had.
Okay. Well, when you just said that, it just reminded me of that JV meme where he's like listening to a song, and that's the vibe that I get. Like, yeah, like, huh? That's the vibe I got from this episode. And that's the same
Yeah.
energy.
Yeah, it's just getting, how can I put this? The more you watch the show, the more I'm like, I don't I don't know if this is what I really wanted. Like, they say be careful what you ask for. And we've definitely been asking for this for the past year since we knew that the show was going to happen and we knew the people that were going to be on the show. And don't get me wrong, it's still better than what I'm used to and the characters that I'm used to on this show. So I'm not complaining completely on that, but I just think that the way that it's been going for the past couple of weeks kind of just been lackluster. So that's the only complaint that I have about this show. But listen, from what I've been seeing on social media, I'm gonna have a lot more complaints for All Star 5. So with that being said,
Yeah.
we are gonna wrap right here. And thank you guys so much for listening. We'll be back next week to discuss more of the Challenge All Stars. If you would like to follow us on Twitter, you can at Dual Alliance Pod. You can follow Megan at Megs and Hines, and you can follow myself at Ace_S5. If you are listening to this podcast, you can watch it on YouTube at Dual Alliance Podcast. You can like, comment, and subscribe. And we'll be back next week to discuss more of the challenge. Goodbye.
Bye.